Bear fans, Bear fans, Bear fans. We're gonna have a good show today. What is everybody's opinions going on with Ben Johnson's hire today? Was it a good hire? Was it something that was missing, or did you like how the Bears finished the job, or is it something missing with Ben Johnson? Please put those in the comments tonight so we can talk about them, so we can have a good conversation today.
Sterling. Decent.
What's going on, Bears Nation? Let's go. We gonna get straight to it. We gonna get these comments in here. I'm G Walker, one half of the CNG podcast. I got my guy Allen with me, but we're gonna hit you guys with this intro. Give us 1 second. We're gonna get it cracking. What up, Craig? What up, Soulback Sports, man? Let me know if you want to come on the show, bro. Let me know if you want the link to the show. You can come on and share your thoughts. But let me get this link. Let me get this intro going, and me and Allen gonna get to it.
Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? This is G Walker, one half of the CNG podcast.
And I'm CJ, the other half of the CNG podcast.
What's going on, everybody? In case you've been living under a rock right now, Ben Johnson is the Chicago Bears' new head coach. The Chicago Bears actually came through with what the fans wanted. Alan, I know it's going to be a lot of instant reaction right now, man, but a lot of fans, they wanted Ben Johnson, bro. They wanted Ben Johnson. So what's your initial thoughts about this hire right now?
Well, it's definitely what the fans wanted. I think it's gonna definitely have buzz, and I think for the quality of hire and what he came from with Detroit as far as turning around Detroit, I mean the metrics are there for improvement, and he's gonna be a good coach. So I think the Bears definitely gave the people what they wanted. He's definitely the flavor of the week. So, we just gonna go from there.
I mean, yeah, because I like the hire, man. Like, he wasn't my personal first choice. I would have preferred somebody a little bit more professional. Veteran that's developed a quarterback, that's developed the offensive line, that developed the wide receivers. Somebody that's done it already.
Right.
So he wasn't my first pick, but the fact that he pretty much transformed that Detroit Lions offense and he made Jared Goff look like an all-pro QB, because Alan, you can put makeup on a pig all you want to, but at the end of the day, it's still a pig, right?
That's it. That's a great analogy. It's gonna definitely be what it's gonna be. But I think G. Walker, now the easy part is getting the guy, making the choice. The hard part is now putting the team around Ben Johnson's philosophy. Like, what is his philosophy going to be along with Caleb? Caleb is an untapped landmine. Like, he's an untapped talent. So the quarterback position will be fine, but I would like to know what they're going to do with certain parts of that offense. We got other needs on that offense, and what are the things that he would like to implement to move Caleb to a level where Jaden Daniels is as far as the complexity of the offense. I think our offense did not represent Caleb Williams' talent at all last year.
And I totally agree, man. So we got the other half of the CNG podcast. CJ is in the building. We're going to get his thoughts real quick, the instant reaction from CJ. How you doing today, bro?
Hey, man,
CJ.
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Okay. So what do you think about this Ben Johnson hire, man?
My thing is, if it's gonna help Caleb, yeah, I guess it's all good. But I wanted the Bears to get a coach that has some experience.
Yeah.
That was my only thing.
Yeah. And because I think a lot of us, even in the fan base, we saw Mike McCarthy as a potential candidate. You know what I mean? Because even though he was a Chicago Packers head coach, a lot of the fan base was not feeling that, man. Just off face surface, man. Like, they was not feeling Mike McCarthy, but Mike McCarthy developed Aaron Rodgers. He developed Dak Prescott, who was a fourth round quarterback, and at some point he had some help with Brett Favre. So he was looking like it was like a 2-horse race between Ben Johnson and Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy was the stable. He was a safe pick. He's done it before. He has an over 500 record in the regular season. He's 500 in the playoffs. So a lot of the fan base was looking towards that type of coach, because I think, Alan, you cannot play around with somebody as talented as a Caleb Williams with a under-experienced head coach. And I think a lot of the fan base was like, nah, get us Mike McCarthy, get us a Todd Monken, get us even a Pete Carroll. So, Alan, let me ask you this. So what can Ben Johnson do that any other of the candidates probably couldn't do? What is Ben Johnson offering to Chicago Bears for Caleb Williams' development?
I was listening to a show, it might have been CHGO, where they were talking about Mike McCarthy and the West Coast offense. The West Coast offense is a old and reliable offense. It works. It's got different shades of it. But I think what calls for Caleb needs to get into an offense with fresh ideas with the modern NFL. And I think Ben Johnson's concepts, the way he had Detroit, his route progressions and things like that, were easy progressions for a quarterback. You got to think about it. Jared Goff is not an athletic quarterback, but Jared Goff got the ball out really quick, and he always schemed guys open. So that's what's going to help Caleb. It's got to be where we scheming DJ open, or we scheming Cole Kmet open, or we scheming Rome Odunze open. We got to get to a point where we're running routes with purpose. So if he can bring a fresh idea, which I think he's going to do, he's going to help Caleb in that regard. But I don't think, I'm scared of him about, what do you know about running an outfit? Like a professional outfit. Like, it comes with a whole lot more than offensive schemes. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, because when you get to a team that's like the Chicago Bears, in my opinion, it's not just about the quarterback. You have to uplift the whole football program. You got to uplift the wide receivers. You got to build the culture. You got to build the locker room. There's more than one thing besides let's just get the quarterback right and everything else will fall into place. That's been the problem with the Chicago Bears for a long time. They focus on one thing, but don't focus on everything else. And with that, everything falls apart. So, CJ, what makes you believe that in a short period of time that Ben Johnson was in Detroit, do you think he's an enhancer of men in a football program?
Well, I really can't say that, because to me he don't have the leadership of leading men. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, his offensive coordinator in Detroit, but the head coach experience is what I'm worried about. What are you gonna be able to do in those tough situations? How quick can you think of your feet, and how fast can you think of your feet in those tough situations? That's gonna be the key, No,
man, and you absolutely correct, because what I did see from him having Jared Goff, and we just saw Jared Goff have a meltdown of a game this weekend. Like, it wasn't Ben Johnson's fault that Jared Goff was throwing interceptions. You know what I'm saying? He threw a pick six. That's not Ben Johnson's fault. You know what I mean? So we got a quarterback, Allen, that had a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. So the fact that he's coming to a quarterback that's mobile, a quarterback that doesn't throw interceptions, a quarterback that can be accurate, a quarterback that can change plays at the line of scrimmage, he's coming to a quarterback that has a lot of things going for him. You know what I mean, Allen?
Yeah, you just hit it right there. And CJ, you made a good point, man. That game management, that's what I'm curious of. What is he gonna do when it's 4th and 3 and we convert the 4th down, but then we only got 13 seconds left and we ain't got no timeout? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna Eberflus it, or are you gonna make the quality play that we haven't seen in a long time? Or we gonna have to rely on a young 23-year-old quarterback to make the decision for the team? Like, I don't want Ben Johnson to be in that spot. I want him to command it. So Caleb definitely is going to grow from that, G. I think he's going to definitely grow from some tutelage, and he's got the athleticism. He got the things that's not on paper. He's got the moxie in the pocket, so he helped Jared Goff reinvent his career, man. We got to remember that. So he's not reinventing the wheel with Caleb. Caleb is Caleb, and the talent is just jumping off the page. So he will probably get total command of raising Caleb and progressing him to numerous of Pro Bowls and All Pros, hopefully.
The thing I like about this pick, CJ, and I want to get your opinion on this. The thing I like about Ben Johnson is the youth that he provides for his quarterback. Like, We all wanted, some of us wanted Pete Carroll, but Pete Carroll was 71, 72 years old. He had a succession plan. Matt McCarthy is in his 50s, you know what I mean? A lot of these, Tal Munkins is probably in his late 50s. But you bring in a guy that's in his 40s. So that means, and he's young enough to understand a young quarterback. So I like the fact that they did go out and get the guy that's young enough that you can grow with a Caleb Williams in his career.
Yeah.
So you can see the longevity inside their relationship. You know what I mean, CJ?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, G, I definitely agree with you 100%. I think Ben Johnson's going to be able to relate to Caleb Williams because he's so young. So I definitely agree with you with that. The only question I have, what is he going to do in those tough situations when the game is tight and the game is on the line? Because we didn't see our boy Eberflus do the same stupid shit over and over and over. So I just don't want to see that too many times next season. You know?
Yeah, because I don't want to see that either, because even in this game this past weekend, he had ran an empty set on the 31 and Jared Goff threw an interception for a pick six on the 3rd and 1. With those two running backs he has back there, and this is what a lot of Detroit Lions fans, I'm in the Detroit Lions group, you know, they talk about he could get too cute with the play calling at times. So, Alan, did you see any of that from him?
Yeah, you see that, G, but then you see that they don't punt the ball but 3, maybe 2 times a game. So, you know, we got to take the good with the bad. Sometimes it depends on what the defense gives you. On a 3rd and 1, if he's spreading them out and he's got a matchup on a linebacker or something like that, I can't get mad at him for that. 3rd and 1, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I think he does have the quality. But, you know, G, we Bear fans, we always pick and pull with our guys, too. Our defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators. Ain't nobody going to be great because we ain't going to let them be great. So, you know, we just hope that he can improve from those things and we get that type of running style where I want to run the ball. I want 2 running backs myself. You know what I'm saying? But I also want common sense approaches. So if he can bring that and kind of calm down, and he's a head coach, so he's going to get all the responsibility. He's not going to get a quarter of it anymore. He's going to get all of it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, and that's true because you have to think that, like I was saying in one of our past shows, that iron sharpens iron. So if Dan Campbell is out there biting kneecaps, he got an offensive coordinator that's super aggressive that's going to try to take off and tear apart a defense. So that part of Ben Johnson, I believe in. I think he's an aggressive play caller. I think he's going to be an aggressive head coach, and I think he's going to run a non-nonsense football team. It's just going to come down to in-game situations, like CJ said, time management, and when are we going to see Caleb be Caleb, or can you keep Caleb structured? We need a structured Caleb Williams to be the best version of himself. We need a Caleb Williams under center more. We need a left tackle that can stop a bull rush. We need a new right guard. We damn near need a new left guard. The only person, CJ, on this team, on this offensive line that can stay to me to help this offense is Darnell Wright. So what do you think Ben Johnson is going to do with this offensive line, TJ? Just what are your first thoughts?
I would hope that he would go and get a left tackle because that's what we need. I think we can get guards in free agency. I just think that those rights, the left tackle needed to be solidified. Just like we got Darnell Wright, you know, who pretty much can hold his own. We need to get a left tackle.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Alan, we got A-Dub in here. A-Dub, shout out to A-Dub, man, on X right now, on Twitter, man, listening to the show. He agrees with us. He says, let's go. Let's go, man. We got your boy, man. I think you wanted Ben Johnson, too. He says, O-line, O-line, O-line. So, Alan, it gets hot right away for Ben Johnson. You got hired. Yes. The draft is up next. You know what I mean? Yes. You and Ryan Poles have to sit together and come up with things that make sense to protect your quarterback and to grow his talent and your wide receiver. So, what do you think that offensive line, what are you tackling first? I know it's like 3 other positions outside of probably the right tackle, but what are you getting first if you can, if you're Ben Johnson?
Well, if I was Ben Johnson, The first thing I would do is establish the middle of the offensive line. If we can get our hands on a stout left guard, get our guard position solidified with a solid center, I think the left tackle position we can address a little later. We were a leaky offensive line, meaning we allowed too much pressure up the middle where Caleb had to be flushed left or right. Quarterbacks are better when they can step up in the pocket. When they're throwing on the run, now Caleb can throw from any angle. He can throw from any platform. But traditional quarterbacks don't like to throw left or right. They like to step up in the pocket, clean feet, throw the football. Caleb did not have clean feet in no game I ever watched this year. His feet were not clean at all. So that's what I would want us to do, is show up that inside first. And then left tackle is going to be very expensive. That's cornerback money. You know what I'm saying? And we only got $89 million, I think, in salary cap, because we're not going to the draft and finding a bookend left tackle this year. We're not going. They're all, from what I'm hearing from scouts and stuff like that, this is not a great tackle market, but it's got a lot of good guards and centers. So I think we're going to have to be patient and try to groom one. And maybe we can get one later on, but solidify that up front in the middle so we can run the ball, churn some running games, because we're going to need a stronger running game. We got to add to Swift. We need another guy. So,
man, and I agree. We got A-Dub in here saying Darnell Wright becomes a Pro Bowl player with a solid left tackle. Man, shout out to A-Dub, man. Do me one favor, A-Dub. Can you like this and retweet this or repost it, whatever y'all do on Twitter, man? I really appreciate it. But Allen, back to your point about, just we're not going to be able to get the left tackle that we need. We got to work on the guards. That's fine. And I think we should get a center. So, CJ, I think the thing we need to get, like you always, CJ, you've been saying this for a long time. That's center position, bro. We got to get that center position right. You know what I mean? See, you've been talking about that for a minute.
Yeah, no doubt. And to me, the left tackle in the center position is going to be very important for the Bears to try to get, at least this year.
Yeah.
I think. Because that's what I'm thinking. Because the center and the quarterback got to be on the same page.
Yeah. Because we saw the center position here was terrible. The center position was terrible with Justin Fields here, the ball going up in the air. It was it was pretty much terrible here, with what the hell is his name? Caleb Williams. It seems like everything was bleeding until Caleb Williams' start to his career, man. Bad play calling, offensive line, center, left guard, right guard, Nate Davis, Tevin Jenkins. Like, this is a complete rebuild. So, Allen, if you could say anything to anybody that's a Bears fans, what would you tell them about expectations of the first year with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson? What are the expectations?
Well, you just said it, man, but I don't think Ryan Poles is going to come out and say this is a rebuild. Me and you both and everybody know we are in a rebuild. But they can't tell us that at Hallis Hall. So I believe, G, that the first year with Ben Johnson is going to be explosive. I think he's going to turn around the first year. But what scares me is success. What is he going to do with success? Is he going to... Matt Nagy had an awesome first year. Coach of the year, 12-4. Offense was beautiful. But then, G, the next year, we couldn't get 10 first downs in a row. So, it just depends. He's got to stack on his success also. Because I believe he's going to do a really good job turning the team around offensively. I'm just interested to see what he's going to do with the defensive coordinator spot. And my guess is going to be my guy, Chico, Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron.
And I got some information Shout out to Andy from the Bears Den podcast. He sent me some on my phone about his who the defensive coordinator is going to be. But right now we got some comments in here. We're going to get to these comments. What's up, Darrell saying? Let's see who the OC going to be. Man, bro, I can't wait to find this out. I think they're going to build a great staff. I think that was the reason why a lot of those guys were coming in for these interviews, so they can kind of put the people they think he should get outside of being a head coach or offensive coordinator, like a Cliff Kingsbury or Joe Brady, somebody like that he can pick from, whoever the case may be. So I can't wait for that. We got Brandon Savage right here saying $85 million is top 5 cap space in the league. And it's crucial. So CJ, we're going to get to this comment, then we're going to go to the other comments. So CJ, top 5 cap space, $85 million. What are you going to get? Because I believe, CJ, if they were this aggressive to get Ben Johnson and Ben Johnson wanted us, I think it's going to be a domino effect for free agents to come in. We might get a top free agent on the offensive line. But CJ, what are you getting with that top 5 cap space, man?
Hopefully you get the best. Whatever position that you're trying to go for. Hopefully you get the best. Because that's what I think the Bears deserve.
That's right, CJ. We deserve
it. We do.
Yeah, we do.
All right. And we got David Rodas. Now go get Dennis Allen for offensive coordinator. What up, David, man? Hope you like the show. Follow the CNG podcast on Facebook. I see you on Facebook right now. We're going to be coming with more episodes, and then we found out his offensive coordinator is. Once he gets the defensive coordinator, we're going to have another podcast. So if you want to be in tune with what CNG podcast is doing in the coming weeks as far as Ben Johnson building his staff, just go ahead and follow us on Facebook, or you can follow us on X, or you can follow us on YouTube as well. CNG podcast, you'll see us. And A-Dub, I wanted to get to your point. A-Dub says we at the end of a rebuild. There's only a few missing pieces. Now, Alan, we said this early in the season that this was the last year of a rebuild because one, you got Caleb, you got Rome Odunze, you got Jalen Johnson, you got Kyler Gordon, you got Montez Sweat, you got Jaquan Brisker when he gets back and gets healthy. You got a punter, you got DeAndre Swift. So to A-Dub's point, and I was saying this before, I think this is the last year of a rebuild, but I think we're still in a rebuild. You know what I mean, Alan?
Yeah, we are still in the rebuild, G. I mean, it's pretty obvious, man. I know it don't look like it, but it's pretty obvious. Yeah, we got a lot of holes on that team, man. So we got to get to work like immediately. Like you said, him and Ryan Poles and my guy Ian Cunningham, they got to get in the room and get this fixed. Like, yeah, we got to get it fixed now. Like, all people gonna be out of work except Ben Johnson.
Yeah. And A-Dub is coming with the great comment. So CJ, it says Poles is all in this year, and it's saying that the brass is giving him the keys. Now, everybody that's in here, man, I hope you guys are paying attention. George McCaskey got the hell out of the way this time. Kevin Warren, hold on, man. We have to shout out Kevin Warren, bro.
We got to.
A lot of people had a lot of things to say about Kevin Warren, bro. But we're going to bring up Kevin Warren right now, bro. We're going to talk about this man because he came here as a boss. He came here to be a buffer for George McCaskey and the McCaskey family. Ryan Poles was upset because he was involved in the football operations. When you have a record like Ryan Poles and you the GM, bro, you don't get to keep your autonomy at all, bro. Because imagine if Ryan Poles was completely in charge of this situation, Alan. We could have had Mike Kafka as a head coach. We could have had Brian Flores as a head coach. We could have had, Eddie George. So what are your thoughts about this whole process now that it's happened? That Kevin Warren, man, how much of a big deal, or how much of a thing he was involved in this process, bro?
Hey, Kevin Warren was the adult in the room. He brought that, what you say, that manhood to the room. Like, we're not going to keep going through silly season. So this is my name on it. I ran the Big Ten. I ran 2 successful franchises. So I come in with skin on the wall. I know what greatness looks like. I know what good and great looks like. So this is what I need. This is what I need from you, Ryan, George. You know, he came in and established order. So now he's going to get out. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get out the way and let Ryan do his job. Because like you say, Ryan got an eternity for 1 year. So he got to get it done yesterday. So shout out to Kevin Warren.
Man, well said. So CJ, what are your initial thoughts on this whole process? Because a lot of people were saying they was wasting his time, that he should be fired. He ain't got the stadium right. But he came in here and he saw things like, hey, why is Trace Armstrong pretty much being a de facto president of the team? Because Shane Waldron was his client, Eberflus was his client, and Ryan Poles was his client. They were running a coup up there in the Chicago Bears front office that needed to be stopped. So, CJ, what are your thoughts about Kevin Warren pretty much being that linchpin, being that fly on the wall for stopping this from being another Trace Armstrong situation and keeping Ryan Poles? What do you think about Kevin Warren, the leader, man, the boss?
I mean, I think he's done an excellent job. By correcting it and by getting hopefully some people in the Bears organization that knows what they're doing. Ben Johnson, we just got to wait and see what happens. That's all we can do. We'll see how the staff is looking. Somewhere down the road, and then we can talk about Bears record for next year and all the other stuff. But it looks like the Bears are headed in the right direction.
Yeah, and I agree. We're gonna get to Adel comment. Adel said we should all be grateful for Kevin Warren. Just try to imagine we would be with Ted Phillips still stinking up the place. This is an incredible sweaty Teddy, man. The fact that, and we've got to give George McCaskey some credit, bro. George McCaskey, to his credit, well, he had already said before, I'm like you guys. I'm just a fan. That man came from a billionaire family, nepotism. He inherited that team. But the transparency that he said that a couple of years ago let me know that this man is who he is. They say you'll see him. He don't like to sit in the suites. Sometimes he like to go to the Cubs game and sit in the 100 seats instead of sitting in the box. So there's some transparency that he has. But how much credit and aura and flowers will you give George McCaskey in this situation, Alan? Like how much, man? Because if it's not for him getting out of the way, this probably don't happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the great leaders delegate. G, you know that. All your great leaders are good delegators, and he's got to develop that. I mean, I just think, be honest, he just made some bad decisions. So he made a good decision by getting Kevin Warren and letting Kevin Warren do his job. The best thing for him to do is step back and let other people do great jobs. You hire A-list people to do the job. Jerry Bush for the Lakers used to always say that. I'm going to hire the smartest people around me. Right. That means I don't have to be as smart as them. They're the ones working for me. That's the mentality you got to have as a chairman. Hire smart people and put them around you.
Yeah, and I gotta agree, man, because I thought I had a picture of Ryan Poles in here, but I don't. So what if I'm Ryan Poles? He has to be thanking his lucky stars that he was able to keep his job. You know what I'm saying, CJ and Allen? Because one, you ran a coup up in this office with Trace Armstrong, Eberflus, and Shane Waldron, and you doubled down on keeping Eberflus. The offensive line you did not build this offensive line to the standard it needed to be in 3 years that hurt Justin Fields, and it was starting to hurt Caleb Williams with 68 sacks. The fact that Ryan Poles was able to keep his job, bro. Allen, what do you think was the reason? Because we can say that, McCaskey was smart with getting Kevin Warren. He was probably seeing things happen with his organization. The fact that he kept Ryan Poles here, what does Ryan Poles provide that actually let him to keep his job, bro?
You know what I think has saved his job is that DJ Moore trade. I think that DJ Moore trade was like the trade of the year last year. And I think he showed the league for most part and showed Kevin Warren that administrative things he does well. He can get the best value out of trades. And that's something that a lot of people can't do. You see a lot of GMs make bad trades all the time. But Ryan Poles, he made a couple of bad ones, but he made a great one in getting Caleb. He ended up with Caleb Williams when he probably wouldn't have ended up with Caleb Williams. So you got to give him some kind of grace for that. I think, and this is pretty much his roster. So he was gonna be the only survivor anyway. But he's got to win now. It's got to be some wins on the board going forward.
Yeah, man. And CJ, the fact that Ryan Poles is still here, and the continuity, and the fact that, and this is what something they said that CJ and I never believed this, and I'm gonna retweet my post. It's an old post I put up there. I never believed that Ben Johnson didn't want to work with Ryan Poles. I never believed that. So CJ, what do you have to say to the point that he turned down the Raiders job that was probably going to give him more money?
Yeah.
The Raiders was going to give him his own GM. What is the determining factor that made Ben Johnson choose the Chicago Bears? Because the Raiders were giving him everything, bro.
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams.
That's
Caleb
what it is. It's Caleb Williams. When you have a potential superstar like Caleb Williams, man, if you're a new head coach, you'll love to be in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, really don't have a quarterback that they can say is their franchise quarterback. Now they could have one in this year's draft, in Sanders. But they don't have one right now.
All right.
But it's Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to draw free agents to the Bears. He's drawing head coaches to the Bears, as you can see already.
Right.
Because that's the Bears' selling point is Caleb Williams.
Right. And I gotta agree. I think that the thing that sold him to come to Chicago was the fact that Ryan Poles is a smart GM. I think that he was a little bit inexperienced in picking his head coach. I think they kind of trapped him inside of what they wanted to do the first time around with Eberflus, but him doubling down on Eberflus, I don't understand that. So Alan, Caleb Williams pretty much got the coach that he wanted, man. I saw his father retweeting about Caleb Kingsbury, but we saw Caleb Williams on the podcast saying, if it's not Ben Johnson, it's whatever. So how much of an influence do you think that Caleb Williams had in this process of getting his head coach that he wanted? Because we talked about it before this whole situation even started. How much influence does Caleb Williams have? I think he got this much. I think he had a ton. So Alan, how much of an influence do you think that Caleb Williams had in picking his own head coach, man?
Did we talk about that mystery tweet that got to Caleb where somebody was trying to catfish him and said, this is Ben?
Oh yeah,
Johnson.
The trolling. I saw that troll, yeah.
So, and then Caleb was like, man, I'm ready to go and pumped up. So I think he apologized, but he wanted Ben. I think Caleb had some influence. After I seen that, I was like, Caleb must be getting a phone call. And he had a vision along with Ryan Poles. I think he had a lot to do more than I ever thought he would.
Right, and I like the fact that we got a couple comments from A-Dub. A-Dub says Poles had the fleece of the century with the DJ Moore trade. We wouldn't have Caleb if that move does not happen. That's totally true. I've been saying that for the longest time. The Chicago Bears have been more lucky than we've been good these past 3 seasons. We're getting Caleb, then getting Rome, then getting 2 second-round picks. Now we got Ben Johnson. So it's been a lot of luck going on in this situation. Then we got A-Dub saying Caleb is much better than last season. It's going to be eye-popping for a lot of haters. I think it's going to be eye-popping, man. But back to my point about Caleb Williams, pretty much having influence. I like the fact that they're living in the modern era. I think that they saw Caleb Williams as probably the most potential franchise quarterback we've ever had. Mitch Trubisky, we should have never drafted him. Justin Fields, we probably should have never drafted him, but he was a project. He wasn't the passer that Caleb Williams is. Justin Fields did not go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reads the way Caleb Williams does. He's not the leader that Caleb Williams is vocally. Caleb Williams is the prototype NFL quarterback, and I think that they respected him enough in this organization, Alan, to say, we got one. We got us one. Caleb Williams never threw his coaching under the bus. Nope. You know what I mean? He was probably be a little bit naive in the situation. He was sound like a politician a lot of times. But yeah. Caleb Williams played everything the right way, so they can't say it's your fault. He took those sacks. He held that ball. You know what I mean, Alan? He didn't throw his teammates under the bus. He didn't throw his coaches under the bus. He came in every day, put his head down, shook the opponent's hand when they lost. So how much do you think that they saw that and they were just like, you know what? Let's just give Caleb Williams the keys, Alan. How much you think that might have had something to do with it?
Yeah, I think it was some of that because, I mean, any person that watched our football games, if Caleb Williams had a couple plays here and there, we probably would have been a playoff team this year. So Caleb really is a budding superstar. So you got to nurture it. You got to put water on it. You got to go out there and keep the weeds from being in the flower bed. You know, you just gotta groom him. So you got a coach that can come in with the approach of helping him grow in the NFL modern era. The only thing I want Caleb to work on is keep working on his body, keep working on his attributes, keep working on his accuracy. You know, those things he's got to continue to work on. But for the most part, the leadership, taking onus of all situations, I didn't see him talk about nobody. He didn't call out Eberflus. He didn't say anything. All the other leaders did, so-called leaders. But real leaders know that I have no business talking out loud about a situation unless I have all the information. And he needs to keep that from the mass. So leaders know how to separate their information. That wasn't need to know for me, you, and CJ. That's between him and Matt Eberflus. So I applaud Caleb Williams' leadership, and I can tell he's a great young man overall.
Yeah, he was very impressive from the first day of his first interview. He was impressive from the first day of his first press conference, and he continues to be a very impressive young man. Man, his parents raised this kid right. Don't throw people under the bus. His teammates love him. He's tough as I don't know what. 68 sacks, still to 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, over 450 yards. He has the rookie record for pass attempts without an interception. Like, bro, the kid is the total package. So now that we got a young coach that's probably going to put that swag, that sauce, that structure around him, Chicago Bears Nation, man, this has been a great process for one, getting Caleb Williams, for us getting Ben Johnson, from Kevin Warren coming in this situation to being the boss, being the old man, being the OG, being the grandpa you don't mess with, coming in the building. You got to give credit for George McCaskey for stepping back and being ready to be a winner, bro. It's one thing in this world to make money, but it's another thing in this world to have money and be a fucking loser. Those are two different things, and I think that George McCaskey was pretty much getting sick of that. You know what I mean, CJ? Because it all kind of came together, right? I mean, Alan, it all came together, right, Alan?
Yeah, it came together, man. So I think it's a matter now putting the work in, but I feel like the moon, stars, and the sun are aligned. So, you know, we got the coach, we got the player. Now we got to get the wins. So we got all of that. Now we just got to put it all together, man. So Ryan Poles, this is the best. This is going to have to be your best draft right here. And I really think, I think Ryan Poles is going to really trade up this year. I think Ryan's going to try to get higher up in that draft to get somebody. I think he's gonna run for the he's gonna aim for the fences for the draft this year. I wouldn't be surprised we walk out there with 5 people, because he's gonna try to, you know what I'm saying, try to go ahead and move up and get players that's gonna play day one.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. I think Ryan Poles is gonna, and I think with an offensive head coach, we're gonna probably see the best offensive draft talent we've seen in a long time, because we saw what Matt Eberflus did. We saw how he was going with the defensive draft picks, you know what I mean? So now we're going to probably see the picks from an offensive standpoint, from a Caleb Williams driven talent, to put every piece around him so he can be his best self, along with a young head coach. Like I say, Ben Johnson wasn't my first choice, but I'm a Chicago Bears fan before anything, man. I'm always going to put the team above my personal feelings. I have zero expectation that this man is going to fail. I have zero expectation he's going to fail Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze. I have zero expectation that Ben Johnson is going to be bad on this team as a head coach. My only thing about Ben Johnson is, like everybody said, what is his crunch time management going to be like? And what is he going to do in in-game situations? Can he keep the trick plays and all that stuff at bay? That's the key. That's the key. But we're going to get into one more thing, and this is what I got from the Bears Den podcast. This might not be true. Andy, shout out to Andy from the Bears Den podcast. Sent this to me on my phone. Everybody wants to know already who is Ben Johnson going to bring in as offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. So this is a little bit of information that might be true. It says, as reported, Ben Johnson has already been lining up staff and former Saints head coach Dennis Allen as a prime candidate to be his defensive coordinator in Chicago. CJ Allen, this name right here. So CJ, when you hear this name in Allen, I'm gonna ask you, how do you feel about going to get Dennis Allen, man? This is crazy.
Well, Dennis Allen is from the great George Allen. So that means our defensive players are going to fly to the football. The only thing about Dennis Allen, if my memory is correct, we're going to have to change up a little bit of our scheme, a little bit. It depends on what front we're going to do. And I don't think Ryan want to go back to a 3-4, not in one offseason. So I'm kind of want to know what Dennis Allen, what kind of scheme he's going to run. So Dennis Allen is an awesome defensive coordinator. So we will be fine at defense.
Okay. So CJ, what's your thoughts? It says, on the new day in Chicago, the Bears are finalizing the deal to hire Ben Johnson. So Johnson is set to fly there in contract parameters, burn last minute. The Lions offensive coordinator lands with the NFC rival. And CJ, I want to talk about this because it was a rumor that came out and said that he was scared to come to the Chicago Bears because he didn't want to play in the NFC North. But he knew something we all knew. We got the best quarterback in the division. You saw what what's his name in Minnesota do. You saw what Jordan Love is. You see what Jared Goff is. He saw probably the potential that Caleb Williams is the best quarterback, pure talent passer in this league. Because Sam Darnold, trash. When it got real, trash. Jared Goff, trash. Jordan Love, trash. All of them are overrated. So CJ, what do you think? How much do you think that went into his mind state of coming here and trying to get the best young talent quarterback in the division?
I think it played a lot into it. I really think it did. Now if I fully look at it, I think it played a lot into it.
Right. I think so too. I think so too. But CJ, what's your thoughts on Dennis Allen, man? Because I think we had somebody coming here with a comment that they wanted Dennis Allen. So hold on. Boom, here it is right here from our boy David Rodas. So a lot of people are high on Dennis Allen. So CJ, what's your thoughts, man? Before we get up out of here.
I think he's a good coach. You know, I've heard some pretty good things about him. I do think he's a good coach, though, and I think and if the Bears get him, I think he'll be good for the Bears.
Yeah, man, and I think so too. I think they're gonna put together a hell of a team. I can't wait to see who his offensive coordinator is going to be and his defensive coordinator. Like, I'm really hyped about the staff that Ben Johnson is going to get, man. I have zero expectation that this man is going to be bad at his job, man. Caleb wanted him. Ryan Poles wanted him. And the dope thing about it, he wanted the Chicago Bears, Allen. That's the thing that's changed with us, man. A head coach that's probably maybe the next Sean McVay or somebody like that wanted the Bears, man. So what is it? Go ahead, Allen. Go ahead.
I would say he could be G. He could be all those things, you know. So I'm gonna stay positive because we ain't hired him now. So, you know, he's our guy. So we gotta stand by him. So, you know,
exactly.
He's gonna have a wealth of talent at the QB position. And we just can't say that enough, man. Like you said a lot, man. Like Jared Goff, Love, and Darnold, they don't have the talent that Caleb Williams has. You know what I'm saying? So he looked at the landscape and was like, I could probably control this division for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Dan Campbell, my guy, you know, we still can go get drunk and talk to, you know, hang out. But for my job's sake, he might keep his job longer than Dan Campbell for all we know. So, because Dan Campbell now has to replace him and Aaron Glenn, because Aaron Glenn's going to get a job too. So we don't know how Detroit's going to look going forward. So Ben Johnson was a big piece of that development down there. So
yeah, man.
So we gotta state what the facts are. So hopefully he can turn our boat around. And I don't think we need a lot. We just got few holes. We just need leadership. He's got to provide leadership, y'all. Just keep the guys from running in the wrong direction. Keep the kids in line. That's all I'm saying, G. Don't let them run all over the place. Just keep everybody single file and let's just win games. That's all I want, man.
Yeah, that's all I want. So, CJ, man, we're going to start with you on your final thoughts, bro. Then we're going to get up out of here. So, CJ, what are your final thoughts for right now, at least? Because, we got, once he get his coordinators and all that, but what are your final thoughts on this initial hire? Damn, here comes Darcy. Go ahead.
I mean, I think it's a good hire. Again, I know Ben Johnson don't have the experience, and I'm kind of against him not having the experience, but I think he'll be good for Caleb. I mean, if Caleb wanted him, I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got Darcy from Detroit News Lions podcast. Darcy, man, you'll come on another show another time, man. He said, congratulations, brothers. It might be Mark Brunell. You talking about for his offensive coordinator. Okay. Then Darcy says, all 4 quarterbacks that are left can run for a first down. Yeah, but none of them have the arm that Caleb has. We've seen Jared Goff have a tendency. Now, Darcy, I talked about this in the chat, and I was just being honest. He has a tendency to throw multiple touchdowns. I mean, interceptions. Am I right, Alan? Jared Goff throws multiple interception type games sometimes, and it's because he doesn't have that arm strength. Then you got Jordan Love in Green Bay, who doesn't play nobody all season, and the first time they play somebody, they get smoked. Sam Darnold is not going to be in this division next year at all.
No,
and then you have a rookie, J.J. McCarthy, that has to get up to speed against a Caleb Williams with a Ben Johnson. The landscape is crazy for the Chicago Bears. It is insane now we got this offensive coordinator with us, man. I think we're in a new era. These are my final thoughts. I think that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are going to be great together. I think Ben Johnson is going to listen to what Caleb Williams said about being coached hard, a man of his word, and a leader of men. Like, that word, leader of men, is a very vague statement. But, Alan, until they actually show and prove that you're a leader of men, that's just fairy dust. You know what I mean, Alan?
Yeah. You just, it's going to have to be proven on the field. And I understand what Darcy's saying, but at the quarterback position, man, talent is still above the rest, man. I don't think none of them quarterbacks can spin that football like Caleb can. Caleb, yeah, he none of them can spin them laces like Caleb. So, and he's probably the better athlete out of the rest of them too. So, I think Caleb just had the worst offensive line. I think we had the skill position, but we just didn't have the right offensive line. We definitely didn't have the coaching staff. So that was 2 major components he didn't have. He was basically playing his rookie year left-handed to me. So next year he'll be on equal ground, and we'll see what's up next year.
Since Darcy's in here, I don't know he left, but my final thoughts is this. I saw that Lions game, Darcy. I watched it as transparent and objective as I could. 1, Jared Goff does not have the arm strength. 2, he does not have the arm strength. 3, Ben Johnson probably made one bad call, which was the third one on the throw. So he's coming to a situation with a quarterback that has the arm strength, the toughness, the mobility, to go through his reads. Caleb Williams has all the physical traits and the mental traits to enhance Ben Johnson's offense, man. So, Darcy, it sucked that you guys lost Ben Johnson, man. He said, I'm here. But Jared Goff, I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. It just seemed like he's not that good of a quarterback. when he has to have a shootout. I said that in the chat. I said if the Lions have to go through a shootout with the Commanders, they're going to lose this game. And what happened? He tried to force the ball and he lost. That is not Jared Goff's game. The offense that was running with the Detroit Lions, you correct me if I'm wrong, was a strong run game, a strong offensive line, and he'll pick you apart that way. But when it was time for him to go through a shootout with a hot Commanders team and a hot rookie of the year, you guys are going to lose, bro. And I said it. So shout out to the Lions, man. I don't know where you guys are going to go for the next year with your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator gone. I have no idea, bro. I'm pretty sure y'all will talk about it in y'all chat, man. And I told y'all in that chat that Ben Johnson was not going to go to the Raiders, bro. Why would he go to the Raiders? Why? There's no quarterback over there. Didn't you in the AFC? Come on, bro. Like, people got to think. But with that being said, man, we about to get up out of here, man. I'm G Walker, one half of the CNG podcast.
I'm CJ, the other half of the CNG podcast.
And I'm Alan, the last half of CNG podcast.
And look, y'all, we're going to be back, you know what I'm saying, soon. I don't know when he gets his coordinators, we'll be back. Like I always say, over here at CNG podcast, we don't just do content just to do it. We got to get information, and we bring the information to the audience, and we have a whole show. We don't never get on here for no reason, even though it's been a long time. So if you like this show, please follow us on YouTube, subscribe. Please follow us on Facebook, Please follow us on Twitter, on X, and retweet and post this, man. And we up out of here. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.